Someone's been a busy beaver. Hello, my busy beaver friends. As you can see, once again, I'm out in nature. It's currently October 10th, which means I totally slept through the peak fall colors, but that's okay because I don't have that primal rage just to get out there and photograph the fall colors when they erupt. I totally got my sightseeing in and non-photo hikes in during the colors, so I'm good on that front, but just don't see them all that necessary. Like, for example, several years ago, right before September, I got a email from somebody at a local news organization being like, hey, you have a photography website. It's gonna be fall. Do you have any tips for photographing fall colors? To which I sent some kind of reply along the lines of, yeah, fall colors are great, but really you should use them to accent the scene that you would shoot anyways if there weren't fall colors. So like, use them as the backdrop to something, you know, like don't just focus on the leaves, focus on everything that's something that exists and put the leaves around it so you can tell that it was taken at this point in time in the season. Something to that effect, and as you can suspect, they didn't publish it. Now, it was just the usual, like, get a long lens, and oh, you need a nice camera, and make sure to watch the leaf color charts so you know where to go for the best colors, all that boring crap. So, moral of the story, there are some fall colors here, but I don't need fall colors. I like the longer sight lines of spring and fall where you can really see where the deer are coming from. So maybe this will help me street photography of deer. Okay, enough rambling and ranting. Let's get to the photos. And to start off this fall color photography adventure, we have an old inner tube, or 2, or 3, and a big F. Love me some inner tubes, so I guess I gotta do the needful. For all of you who are here for the first video in this series, I think I can do something. Yes! Now that's a power move. There's no way in hell I'm putting it back in without taking the backpack off. I also have one more surprise for this outing. You ready for this? I have replaced the 4 lenses I usually carry with one big ass zoom lens. So like, honestly, I wasn't even really aware that medium format cameras even had zoom lenses until very recently, so I tracked this one down to give it a try, see how it works. It's a chunk, and as you can tell, it kind of puts my tripod at its max capacity, so I gotta be extra careful when shooting the shutter so it's not vibrating. Ideally, the tripod probably should be mounted up here to center the balance a bit better, but alas, when I put my tripod mount on here, it actually can't click into the head I have, so this setup doesn't work with that tripod spot. But anyways, we're gonna shoot with this today and see if the convenience of not swapping lenses between every shot and like actually being able to zoom real quick and get the long angle if a deer comes to street photography it is worth it versus the giant chongus that's now sitting on the end of my camera. Just given the off balance of this whole situation, I kind of need to be alert and make sure I have the tripod leg forward and test to make sure it's not on the verge of collapsing anytime I get up to do anything, because I don't want this falling and breaking. That would be bad. Okay, first exposure. I'm going at about f5.6 because I want that little branch right there to kind of pop out from the background. See how it works. Nice. I mean, like, just look how big this lens cap is. This is the biggest lens cap I've ever owned. It's crazy. Some poor dude lost his soul on this trail. Dad joke. I suppose I should mention that this lens I'm using today is the Schneider Variogon 75 to 150 millimeter lens, which, by the way, is the one piece of equipment I've bought in my life which probably had the least amount of stuff on the internet about it. Like one forum post and one old guy posting in like the early 2000s who had one. Not a really common thing, I guess, but now that I've said it, this video is shooting the top of the SEO charts. Let's go this way. Look at this beauty. Tire full of fall leaves next to the water. I'm totally gonna step in this and get my feet wet trying to take a picture of this. Let's see what I can do. This is the angle. All right, using the zoom, I'm somewhere about 85 millimeters on the focal length here, and we're gonna shoot at about f11.5. Breathe and make sure we're not vibrating. Oh yeah. Always make sure I get this on my neck when I disconnect from the tripod as well, so it doesn't go and take a tumble, because that would suck too. The problem with a big zoom is that suddenly all my lens eggs are in one basket. You're probably not going to believe this, but another tire. theme of the hike, the one with all the tires. I mean, the precedent is set, right? I have to photograph this. So wandering around this scene for about 5 minutes with the zoom lens, which is pretty damn nice for framing up a whole bunch of possibilities real quick, I think I've decided on from back here a ways. You don't always need to be up in the tire shit, do we? I don't think so. Oh, just about lost my eye right there. Take that. All right, we got 130 at 5.6. Let's chop it down to 1/15 at f8. Beautiful tire photo, number 3. Oh, 2, I guess. First is just the inner tube. Tire guts. And it's off to find our next tire.
Tragedy struck.
The button to preview the exposure settings fell off. And in not exactly the easiest to find little piece of plastic environment. So I guess I'm gonna do a quick backtrack and maybe if I'm lucky, find this. If not, well, manual meter it is, I guess, all day. It's not that I walked very far since I last used the camera. It's just that there's so many leaves, so a little piece of black square just falls and bounces under a leaf. Impossible to find without turning up everything. Scouting over the area roughly where I set the camera down before heading off. Not looking good. So one retracing of my steps later and no luck. So keep an eye out for a future video, how to replace your exposure meter button on the Raleigh SLX, or my other future video called I had to pay $100 for a broken body just to steal the spare part off of. While we're out here, might as well Sunny 16 this backhoe. Handheld, here we go. Okay, so I put in like another mile hiking and didn't really see anything too interesting. Losing that button kind of flattened me out and took the joy out of this, so calling this one quits early. Welcome back, Shutterbugs. So, as you can tell, since I stopped that last part of the video, it's gotten a little cold. It's actually snow on the ground. Winter kind of came and smashed us in mid-October, which is also kind of cool because now I get to wear a hat, which means no longer like have this existential dread when I'm editing the videos of realizing that I'm finally getting my grandpa's hair. And as you saw, I did fix my button on the camera, so I think we're gonna be good to go there. I think the goal for this particular hike is to just knock off the last 5 exposures in the camera and be able to edit this video. So it's probably gonna be a short one. That's okay. I found a treasure. This is gonna make a great photo. You ready for this? Fucking discarded Steve Miller Band CD. Time to unpack the camera. Time to use some hardcore macro mode. Whoop! Of course, I didn't put my prism on, so I can't see as well. There you go. So I'm trying to imagine the scenario of how this disc came to be laying here. I imagine some couple who are like on the cusp of like boomer versus old Gen X, like not quite boomer, but still share that you hate your spouse, they're your worst enemy in the world mentality. They're just driving along, and like this dude's been playing the Joker for like 30 years, and the wife has finally had enough. She's like, "Damn it, Bill, you play that Joker one more time, I'm throwing it out the window." And then he just looks at her without even saying a word. I'm the Joker, blah blah blah, and she off it goes, and here it is. Thanks, angry almost boomers. No horses? Damn right, no horses. It's good to know that I'm not gonna get trampled by a horse on this hike, because that would suck. So the other wacky, wild, weird thing about this camera is that historically in the past, once it gets about 50 degrees or lower, I've had real bad luck with battery life. So I suspect it might futz out on me at some point during this hike. Then we get to test if the old pocket brings back to life. And once again, a different gear tragedy has befell me. This damn leg doesn't want to fight anymore. I think some little scratches on it. I think something got up in there, so I have to take it apart completely when I get home. So I guess for the rest of this fight, we'll just leave it max extended and throw it over our shoulder like a lumberjack. Lumberjacks carry stuff on their shoulder. So did you think that horse sign back a ways is pretty cool? How do you feel about horse sign on the ground? It's a whole new take on the classic. You don't see that every day, so I guess I'm gonna set up my broken tripod and take a picture of it. All right, F11 and B there. What are we at? We are down to 11. 2 more exposures. This is gonna be intense. Like camping. Intense. So some thoughts on this big ass lens I've been carrying around. You know, I actually kind of like it. Like, I mean, I assume the pictures are gonna look good. We'll find out shortly, but even though it's huge and giant, it's very versatile. Don't have to, I like not having to keep digging through my backpack to change lenses. That's nice. Although I think probably should get a slightly beefier tripod, maybe one that has a head that can attach to the under the lens mount, and then they'll probably ride on the tripod a little more easier. It won't be so weird. So far seems worth it for nature hikes. Not sure I'd take it with me out to a bar or something, because then it's a little huge. So I'm sitting here worrying about the battery in this thing, which has been historically really terrible in cold weather, but here we go. It's still working. Meanwhile, the battery in the GoPro is like, it's too cold, and already died, so I might have to buy more batteries once we get deeper into real winter. Okay, final photo. There's always been a smiley face painted on this rock over here, but in lieu of recent events, it has been COVIDized with a mask. And the battery held up.